midfield. I think that they have done a really, really good job of addressing just the weaknesses in that team. You know, as much as I loved a Jordan Henderson and a Fabinho for years, it was time. They were old, they were slow, they were hampered by injuries. That the midfield just looked lethargic at times. There was no tooth. They had. Liverpool was such a high pressing team. They couldn't connect. It was really frustrating to watch. They did not look like Liverpool last year.
They didn't look like a Klopp Liverpool that functions at such a high intensity throughout an entire season where the whole team is together. And you look at the players up top. It's not going to change because you have Luis Diaz finally fit, Diogo Jota finally fit, Darwin Núñez and Mo Salah. There's not many, and Cody Gakpo. There's not many additions that you can make there, and the back line is going to be the back line: Trent, Konate, Virgil van Dijk, Robbo, and then you got your players that can deputize. So there's going to be a lot of responsibility in that midfield because more than likely Thiago's going to sit. And Thiago wasn't getting consistent minutes when Fabinho was playing. So he's going to have to step up to the plate. And it hasn't been the Thiago of Bayern Munich at Liverpool. There have been moments like that goal in Champions League, the one that, beautiful. But you need him to dictate. And then not only that, you bring in Dominic Szoboszlai for 70 million euros around that. Klopp usually doesn't make big-time splashes. But when he does, they fulfill the expectation. Like Alisson, like a Virgil van Dijk, but he wasn't a 50 million plus.
Darwin Núñez,
Naby Keita, and Darwin Núñez was probably Klopp at Liverpool his first. If you want to call it flop, there's still time for him to prove.
I think there's time for him.
I don't think he's a flop, but you can't say he's met the expectations.
For sure.
He's the first one that hasn't, because everybody else has fulfilled. Alisson, arguably one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Virgil van Dijk, everybody was drooling over him. So class, one of the best center backs ever.
How much was Konate?
I'm not sure, but probably not up there. We'll look it up, but a lot of responsibility in that midfield to connect everything and to get it going and to
40 million.
See,
all right, not a massive splash.
It's under 50, but the cogs to the machine need to be together. And they need to start working, and the midfield is super important to that.
Yeah, this so Szoboszlai apparently in all of the fitness tests as well, he came in. So it was always Trent and Milner who would dominate at these, and apparently this guy came in and just wiped the floor with everyone. And I guess Trent got like pissed, like he was like, "Who's this guy think he is?
Okay,
who's this guy think he is?" So I'm really excited about. I mean, we saw what McAllister was able to do in Brighton, and I just think that he is the type of player, he fits. I'm really, really excited to see how this all kind of comes together in the midfield, because I do think that a Darwin Núñez, we have glimpses of what that man is capable of, and I think that he is going to. I think he's going to be better.
He's showing more composure even in this preseason, though.
You could tell he's got the athleticism to build the strength.
He's a monster.
Naby Keita was 60 million, by the way.
Naby Keita was 60 million.
60 million.
Okay, I think that's
and he's out, and he's gone.
That was a big miss.
That's a bigger miss.
Big miss.
He's
Naby Keita?
He was a miss?
For that price? That's an absolute miss.
Okay.
Are you playing games?
But Alexis McAllister, for instance,
is bad. Naby Keita wasn't bad.
Well, so it looks like Alexis McAllister is like a steal at 35.
Yeah,
incredibly a steal, especially with how flexible he is. At Brighton, he played 37% at defensive midfielder, 32% at creative midfielder, or attacking midfielder, I should say. He's showing that flexibility in the midfield. I think he's going to slot in perfectly, whether they go back to the 4-3-3 or they stick with this 3-4-3 with the inverted fullback, especially with, look, we saw Trent Alexander-Arnold be unlocked, okay? It's almost like Starbucks, right? Starbucks, bad coffee, hey, at least they got bathrooms. If you think of Starbucks as a public bathroom system with pretty good coffee, you're not upset anymore, right? Trent Alexander-Arnold is a bad defender that is good going forward. If you think of him as a really good midfielder that, A, can defend pretty well. It's all about your perspective. You got to shift your
Perception.
Never thought of
perspective.
Starbucks bathrooms, but
You don't live in New York. Hey, public bathrooms are hard to find in New York. Starbucks is the only opportunity. But the point I'm trying to make is, if you're going to have Trent Alexander drift in, if you're going to have a midfielder that is as flexible as an Alexis McAllister, shouts to every dude, male named Alexis, shouts to all, yo, we're on a big group chat. If you're going to have someone like him who can run forward, bring yourself a bit more forward, not have to sit back, or can play in a 2-8 as a 6, or can play in a 2-6 system, all of a sudden it completely unlocks what Klopp wants to do.
yeah, but this is a team that is super flexible, and that's what I think Klopp wants, is that tactical flexibility of in possession, Trent Alexander comes in. Out of possession, he has to defend and go back as a right back. So still, how is he with the 1v1 defending when you're chasing titles? That's still going to be an issue.
He's not your vice captain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's potentially, and I've said this before, I don't think of him as a bad defender. But if you look at that back line, he continues to be the weakest link on that back line. I don't know if he's a weak link. He is the weakest link. If you're going to attack somewhere and you see Trent Alexander as part of that back four, that's where you're going to go. And that's something that's just not going to go away. That's going to continue. And we saw him be ineffective without Jordan Henderson sort of running around in front of him. That's something that still needs to be fixed.
Who do you think is starting in the midfield? What's the best three?
God.
Because I think Thiago, to your
Susannah
point,
Klopp.
he just doesn't have the legs to cover as much ground with that high press. And that's why he's not seeing the playing time.
So now, after those three, there's a lot of young guys that have been great for Liverpool. But
Curtis Jones.
Curtis Jones, Bajcetic, Harvey Elliott.
My biggest question for Liverpool right now is at the 6th position. I feel like there's not anybody that has come in and
committee.
You know, and I think it's probably going to be Curtis Jones. I think that Klopp will utilize. I don't know.
It's Thiago, and then after that, I think you got to manage with. McAllister can slot in, but then you lose something going forward.
Who starts at the 9?
Darwin, and then you use.
And then you have
It has to be Darwin Núñez. Easy.
I think he's gonna have a good season. I don't know. I just have a.
Remember, reel it back a year ago. Remember the Community Shield when it was Liverpool City, and that was like our first taste of what we would get for the season between Haaland and Liverpool, that we had a lot of expectations.
Yeah.
And Haaland was probably second in the best performers in that game, and Núñez balled, and we thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be Núñez's season. And
Boy, were we fooled.
Yeah. Also, you got to be worried about Virgil van Dijk. 41 days injured with a hamstring last season.
But he played so many games, though.
I know.
Like they played
He
so
ain't
many
getting
games.
younger.
And then the World Cup. I know.
He's trying to chip away at
He ain't getting younger.
Listen, I still believe in Virg. It's my captain.
Okay.
It's my captain.
We'll see.
This is funny though. So Liverpool missing out on Champions League, but they're in the Europa League, and boy, they seem to be very excited that Liverpool will be playing in this competition. They're just going, I mean, unabashedly loving that Liverpool will be
Shouts to the
competing.
Europa
Look at
League
that. Just
admin. This is top level trolling. This is top level trolling.
Liverpool under Klopp got to a Europa League final.
Oh, no.
What a great.
But I mean,
United
is the
say on.
expectation though for them to win this handedly? I mean,
They're the biggest club in this competition by far.
They got to a final of the Europa League with Klopp. Again, they lost to Sevilla, but they played the final, and he had a much weaker team. That was the Sturges of the world were still on that team. I feel like Jordan Ibe was still on that team.
Jordan Ibe,
Yeah.
Wow.
He wrote admin in Liverpool this season.
Oh my gosh.
That's facts. That is facts.
I feel like these are all Manchester United fans.
It could be.
Either way, the Europa League is cooking.
Cooking.
Absolutely he's
cooking.
Roma is a big club that's in there. Bayer Leverkusen, Brighton, Atalanta, West Ham. I mean, Liverpool by far the biggest club in this competition.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think the expectations are always going to be high for them. But I do feel good about. I think that they are going to be competing. I think this is going to be the most competitive Premier League season that we've seen in a really, really long time, and I think that Liverpool are going to be absolutely competing for
Top 4?
top 4.
Of course they are.
absolutely. But
This top 6 is tight.
It is.
Well, you think higher than top 4?
I do.
You got to be.
I do.
You
I
gotta be in
feel. I don't know.
Champions
I
League.
feel
Like top two.
And maybe it's like I'm usually such a defeatist at the start of the season, but I feel very optimistic.
He's trying to catch you.
No, but I'm not trying to. I'm just asking a question.
Top 2?
You have
Top
the
2?
goal-
Top
the
2?
goal-
Top
the
1?
goal
You
of the
think it's going to be
season-
top 1?
I-
Top 2, not 2?